Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gareth Chamberlain. I'm from Pheonix Contact. I'm the IT and Cybersecurity Product Manager for Pheonix Contact. And my job right now is to wake you all up from a food-induced coma. So I will now go through a presentation on cybersecurity in general, but also including Profinet. So, little introduction. Data is the new currency of the world. Everyone wants it. Everyone needs it. Exposed systems will always have vulnerabilities to exploit. And not only that, cybersecurity will now be a factor in all applications for the vast future. At the end of the day, the machine directive is going to be changing as well to take into account cybersecurity, which I believe Lloyds is going to take care of later. But malware has exploded from 362 known families of malware, and it has exploded to an exponential rate because of the lockdowns. So lots of people that are used to technology sat down, was in lockdown, had nothing to do, and they started programming to their heart's delight. And then Cisco did a study as well for their OT customers and found that 80% of respondents had experienced some sort of attack, and that 47 of those had experienced actual impact on their control system, whether that be downtime or loss of data. In the last 5 years of cybersecurity in an industrial application has grown from only a product approach, so putting a firewall in place or a managed switch and fire and forget, to now a philosophy of a holistic approach. So, with the introduction of IEC 62443 and IoT data capture applications, the need for cybersecurity and secure networks is more important than ever. And I'll show you why. So, I have a video here. It is a Pheonix Contact product, but it has a vulnerability on board. So I'm going to just play the video now. No sound, but anyway, so I'll talk over it. So this is a Pheonix Contact PLC, and it is an ILC 150. And what it is basically a bit of a code in there to show that it's an ILC 150. And there's a bit of code in there running the beacon lights just to show that machine is running. The blue square on the right is a Python script, and this Python script is going to target a vulnerability of this PLC. And this PLC, in the memory module, will have a binary value of running and stop, and it's going to flip between the two. So I'm just showing right now that I'm recording it in sync. There's no editing or anything like that of trickery. And so past Gareth is going to put in the IP address of the unit in. There we go. It's not like I've done this before. It then reports back to me exactly what that PLC is. It's an ILC 150 running in firmware 2.2, and it was built on the 18th of the 9th, 2008. It says now, I will now print the state of the PLC and then reverse it after 5 seconds. So once I press enter, it will start pinging, and after 5 seconds, it will stop the PLC from running. Pass Gareth, please do. Here we go. So running, and stop. Now, if you are a machine foreman or you're using the line, and then suddenly that attack is exploited, you're not going to think, oh, I've been hacked. You're going to think, either there's a problem with the cable, maybe someone's pressed the e-stop. You'll never find that exploit unless you look at your firewall rules, your network rules, doing a wire PCAP trace or anything like that. You'll never see that. So, that was an example of a local attack. What about online? So, has anyone heard of Shodan? Shodan is a website online that looks for IoT devices. So, as you saw in that video, it's an ILC 150. And here are live PLCs on the internet right now, ripe for that script to attack. Now, you might think, well, you found that in the past, but hey, if I go to Explore, go to Industrial Control Systems, and unfortunately, we're all in the bad books. 2 seconds. We have Modbus, Siemens, DMP, Tridium, BACnet, Ethernet IP, GE, HART protocol, Pheonix Contact, Mitsubishi, Omron, Redline, Codesys, and other Prochronos and other systems as well. So if I pull in, sorry Siemens, I'm going to put in an S7-1200, one of the most popular PLCs on the market right now. 611 unprotected devices. And that's not due to the vendor, that's due to deployment. So that's remote access gone wrong, maybe there's no firewall, maybe it's on a 4G network, who knows? But the attacker doesn't care. All the attacker sees is this and goes, oh boy. Shocked, I know. So, the standard of IEC 62443 was born for this reason. IEC 62443 is a series of standards that have been developed by the ISA 99 committee as well as IEC, and they have a series of standards that are listed in a structured manner. But it is also a horizontal standard that will apply against all applications. So power, water, marine, railway, pharmaceutical. And these principles will take policies that are needed for certain practices, integrators, vendors, end users, policymakers. And so as you can see here, for section 4 and 3 will be vendors. Are we designing products that are security in mind? Is the process of actually designing it being specified and certified? When we deploy them and sell them to the customers, are they supported in the fact that they can update them? Are they being notified of any vulnerabilities? System integrators, are they integrating these products with settings correctly set? Have they changed default passwords? Are they giving good training to the end user? And to the operations of the asset owners, are they updating? Are they looking after their systems? Disaster recovery, all the good things that IT normally are known for will be deployed to the shop floor as well. So IEC 62443 is just basically risk assessment. So you identify your zones, the conduits that it goes through, so that you can identify what's in my zone, what the asset is, how does it need protecting, what do I need to do to protect that system. So the benefits of network segregation, once you've identified what needs to be protected, zoned off, and then set through via firewalls or layer 3. So the beauty of it is then less noise, so that your other devices are not actually hugging all the bandwidth. That means high performance. Making the spread of malware within these zones diagnostically possible, so that if something does break up within the zone, you don't have a full factory to go through the diagnostic files or the machine code and all that. And then risk assessment actually becomes easier because you've zoned it off. So I know what assets are in this zone. That means I know what firmware's in there. I know what's happening in there. And then we can run our security level threat and assessment on that as well. And then isolate zones, it reduces the spread of breaches and cross-contamination as well. So how secure do you need? Well, there are 4 levels. SL1, security level 1, the unintentional personal mistake, bad configuration, maybe putting a wrong piece of equipment. Security level 2, this is where someone has got maybe a bit annoyed that they didn't get the pay rise they wanted and so on and so forth, and they intentionally attack a target. And they have low capabilities, mainly pulling network cables out. Maybe they found the IP address of the switch and changed the configuration of that. And then SL3, cybercrime and hacking as well. So this is where you got high level attack on there, using scripts, using precision attacks, DDoS, so on and so forth. And then SL4, the big stuff that you hear on the news, where you got Korea versus Russia, and Russia uses the USA, and there's cross. Yes. So, the end user, the integrator, and the vendor need to decide what they need to do to set their level of security. And how it works is that you've got a target security level, one that you want to reach. And then you have two areas. A capability security level. If everything was up to date, if everything was perfect, what level would that achieve? And then once you've run all those metrics, what have you actually achieved? And then you then do a cross-reference against the foundation blocks of IEC 62443 and see what metrics you came with. And once you've learnt those, rerun them again. See what you've learned, patch, update, maybe you have to change your hardware, maybe have to change policies, do you challenge people who come into the factory, so on and so forth. Things like that, who has cabinet keys, all that sort of stuff. So securing the data, so we have some defense principles. So defense in depth or castle doctrine, where you have an onion sort of layer, firewall, layer 3, VLAN, all that kind of stuff. Minimizing attack surfaces. Some people don't even know what's in their factory. I've been to factories where I say, what's actually on this network? Great, okay. Getting an asset management of your network is empirical. To know what vulnerabilities are there, what you need to patch. Authentication. No writing passwords on the cabinet door and leaving it for Wi-Fi passwords and so on and so forth. I've seen this before where users have accidentally got administration credentials. They haven't done anything with it, but the fact that they have it is a massive issue. And the least privilege. So that once you found out this with administration, you knock them down to maybe super user, a user, so on and so forth. Do the right thing. Report that you've got administration rights. Report that, oh, the cabinet was open by accident. So, on a machine, we have this attack surface, where hackers and compromised servers, infected laptops, so on and so forth, can get through the firewall that's wide open, as we saw on Showdown. Maybe also we've got human mistakes as well, where stolen equipment, bring your own devices is also a policy, and having USBs on the shop floor, private laptops, compromised GDSML files that have been left around on a server that someone said, oh, I'll have a mess at that. So the goal is to reduce the attack surface, put a firewall in place, make sure that the firewall is operating at an audited rate, so that once you've done an audit, I see this IP address talking to this IP address. On this software port, do I need it? Yes or no? Why do I need it? And once you've done that audit, then you can close down the ports that are not being used. For the ones that you are being used, audit them regularly, what's coming through, what IP addresses are talking to it, so on and so forth. Limiting devices and approved sources, so that if you can limit the amount of devices that attach to a machine, the better. Because more attack surface that attack can happen, the bigger and easier it is to attack the system. Securing the data and security challenges to Pheonix, well, we have firewall doesn't help here, because Pheonix is not a routable protocol. We also have maybe a denial of service attack as well, that will pile up on the packets within the network and then cause the network to fall over. Untrusted hardware, IP and MAC address spoofing could be an issue as well. Weak device authentication is also a possibility as well. Breached or tampered components, mainly due from weak privilege, not enough credentials, or even a corrupted or tampered GDSML file. Discovery protocol reset and SNMP access so that you can influence MIB files, maybe set traps that are not needed, get some more information from the system, and tampered GSD file as well. That could be an issue as well. Securing the data for Profinet and security extensions as well. This is the things that you can think of when using Profinet, is the robustness. So when you think about Profinet, make sure that you're not exceeding the bandwidth level. Make sure that you're using GSD with signed from PI or the vendor. And DCP read-only mode, so the discovery protocol is only reading in and is not writing anywhere. And of course, SNMP is using a default string, so it's not blasting everywhere, trying to find a SNMP server. And obviously, then we have the authentication of the asset. Communication relations are ensured to make sure that the communication is integral, and the integrity of the asset and communications relations are ensured. And then, of course, you've got the encryption of the cyclic I/O and the encryption of the acyclic and configuration as well. Closing statement, very quick. We've got the Pheonix contact double header. So, isolation, close unused ports, prevent malicious access or mistakes, minimize attack surface to make the network cleaner, only authorized devices, maybe even putting two-factor authentication in, restrict data flow, restrict the amount of traffic, and of course, priority, diagnostics, and alarm. Role-based authentication, based upon their role and what they need. The least privilege you have, the better for users. And of course, the 4 I principles of looking at what's going on, reporting, updating, and so on and so forth.